So,
Hi.
could you give us, I guess, a quick update just on Brevin and where he's at? We didn't see him out there.
Yeah, we held him out of practice today. Bye week. There's no reason to.
Right.
We didn't do a very long practice today, but he is getting better, and we're hopeful that we'll have him for next week. That sign's looking good.
Manny, we didn't evidence is not no longer on the
Yeah,
roster.
evidence. Njoku came to me and says he intends to transfer. He's a good young man. We wish him well wherever he ends up.
What's the focus this week in practice? What do you want to get accomplished, heading into the next game week?
One, stay sharp. Two, get our bodies back. It's been a long season. It was a long grind, this last little stretch of games that we have. So get some guys that have some bumps and bruises healed up. Huge push academically. We only have 11 days, actual school days left of the academic calendar. So trying to get some guys trying to get some caught up on sleep, which we can do this week. So really pretty holistic in our approach of this week of trying to get our guys to be the best versions that they can be here, either finishing out the semester or finishing out the season.
Manny, you've discussed it other times after coming off bye week, sometimes the difficulties. Are there things you're doing differently or you want to do differently with this week?
Well, we are practicing differently, but it is also a different time in the season than our earlier buys. I think this buy came at a good time. I don't think our other buys came at a good time. It was so early in the year, you're still trying to get into a game flow. It's a little different this time of year. We could use the time right now, like I said, to heal some guys that would be able to play on Saturday, but probably wouldn't be 100%. And so the way that we're practicing is different, just a little different standard of how you practice. This is really week 13 of our season. On a one bye week, we'd almost be done in terms of practice, not game, amount of games we played. So we're being smart with our guys and make sure that we're fresh and healthy for the final stretch.
Can you detail some of the improvements that Zion has made? Getting off the ball better? Are there other tangible improvements?
Yeah, I just think his technique is getting better. Just the more you do something, the better you get at it. And with that, the confidence, because now he's getting into games and he's functioning. And then what is then showing up as you get better with your confidence and your technique is the reason why he's there in the first place, because he's got great athleticism and he's very tenacious. He stays after you, gets after you. There's a couple of really special plays this past Saturday where he was blocking guy one way and the guy kind of went away and he pivoted around and got his hands on another guy. Just those are the type of athletic plays that flash and why we've thought so highly of him from the beginning.
Manny, Jeremiah Payton's played in the last couple of games now. Is the plan now to sort of play in these last 3 games as well? Or
no, we'll see. I think he's at 4.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to get him some experience. But we think that he's got a big-time future, and I think we may try to keep him in that behind the glass in case of emergency window.
As a whole, Manny, first year being the head coach, handling the 4-game stuff, there's been all kinds of different situations, and I think teams are still kind of getting used to throughout the year. You've had the Zach McCloud thing. Just as a whole, what has it been like for you managing this and trying to see?
Well, it's a new deal for all of us in college football, and then secondly, every situation is different, and then thirdly, whatever great laid plans you have can all change predicated on what happens on game day. So it's something that you have an idea of what you want to do, and you still have to get into the year and see how your depth chart, injuries. There's a lot of things that factor in. So those are discussions that we have. We had a long discussion about it in our staff meeting yesterday, trying to come together with the best plan of the guys that are approaching 3-4 games of participation this year.
Manny, you talked about it before the season started, how much it meant to have Shaq and Pinckney back as seniors. When do you start having that conversation with some of the juniors? Do you do it on a bye week?
Yeah.
Do you wait till the end of the season? Or?
We will have those conversations this week. The same conversation we had a year ago with those guys. Let them know that we're here for them. We want to provide them with as much information as possible so they can make the best decision possible. That we're not, I think the thing that's important is that we're not selfish for what's best for Miami, even though, of course, obviously we want what's best for Miami, but we have to let them know that we care about them and any decision that they made, that they have all the best information available to make it.
Do you think that younger guys kind of seen what Shaq and Mike did and maybe it all said, hey, smart what they did?
I hope so. And even how about a Zach McCloud saying, I'll tell you what, I'm going to come for a 5th. Those are the type of guys that you got to build a program around. And by the way, there's no way there's a linebacker playing better football right now than Shaq Quarterman. And I know Pinckney played great last week and got the linebacker of the week in the league. But Shaq, Shaq was playing really well all year, but since halftime at Georgia Tech, the guy's taken his game, in my opinion, to an All-American level. And so I think he's 10th in the USA in tackle for loss. And when you factor in, guys in group of 5 schools and guys that play defensive line, when you talk about linebackers and premier guys, and not total tackles, because there's a lot of guys that play on a team where that's the only guy that can tackle a guy. We got a lot of guys that can make plays on this defense, and right now what Shaq is doing, he has taken his game to another level, and there's no way there's a guy playing better in the country than Shaq Quarterman.
Can you share which young guys are flashing in your Sunday night football program?
Oh gosh, well, Jeremiah Payton is one of them. He makes plays every Sunday. I know I've said this before, but the young defensive linemen, whether that's Holly, Harrison Hunt, Blissett, those guys have a bright future. Cam Williams is in that group as well. Avery Huff, we love watching Avery Huff get out there and play. And even guys that have been playing in games on special teams like Christian Williams and Takori Couch, they still get the feature on Sunday Night Football, and just they're getting coached, and it's just another example of how you can develop next year's team. This year we did a couple 7-on-7 periods today and just went straight, same thing. Kind of the guys that would be your Sunday Night Football guys all got reps, and they're getting coached, and that's one of the things that we can do when we don't have the game to prepare for this Saturday.
Manny, Camden Price, we're talking to him today.
Yeah.
What has he meant to the team this season? And also, do you go after another kick? I know you have one recruit for a couple seasons from now. For next season, do you go after a kicker?
The second part, we don't know yet. We'd have to see how we finish the season. But I think obviously what Camden's done is he's solved the problem for us. It was quite evident for everyone to see. But I think the neat thing about Camden was he continued to improve as year went on and got to the point where he became our best guy out here on Green Tree practice field. And then the confidence from doing that translated to him going to the game. And my most proud moment of Camden was actually after the miss in Tallahassee, because that had been our issue. We have all three guys can do it. But to have that self-confidence that should you miss one, which is going to happen, that I can come back in and make the next one, which was a huge kick, because that's really what made it a 3-score game up there. So I was more proud of him for responding after a miss than just the ones that he made.
I saw Patrick Joyner was in at the end at linebacker.
Yeah.
The Louisville game. Your impressions of his play? And
Pat did well when he was out there, in terms of just going through his reads and fitting himself in the proper gap, which is great. Great to get him and get him back healthy. He is moving better than he was moving early in the year. He's coming back from a pretty significant injury that he's occurred this summer. So fun to have him back in the unit, and obviously to add to our linebacker depth, which has been, as everyone knows, sorely lacking.
Just with Steed and Johnny, is there any update on them, and you hope to get them in at some point this season?
It doesn't look like. It looks like the bowl game will still be too soon for both those guys, but full recovery by spring ball. We should have a good old competition in spring practice. I'm looking forward to that. Okay.
Are you guys going to go to Marlins Park at all at some point to practice?
Not to practice. We'll go there the day before for like a walkthrough, just to see it. So make sure that the third base line is the way we want it.
Thank you.